Hello and welcome to Triple Tap Gaming, a podcast about games, industry and culture. We are your hosts, Izhar.
Oh, right. Yes, it's me, Adib. I was just switching windows there for a second.
Izhar!
Yeah, no, we're keeping that. I'm not redoing it.
No. I was thinking to myself, am I meant to go second? This doesn't feel right.
Okay, a part of me was thinking, you know what? I might just leave it there for a bit. I was like, okay, I gave me a second. I was like, you know what? This is probably my turn to say Adib. But I'm just going to let it mellow out for a bit, you know? Just leave a weird, awkward silence.
The thing that we've been practicing for the last 2 weeks just immediately shat out the window. I love it.
Completely forgot everything.
That's so funny. Right, anyway, yes, you know who the
I want to
hosts are.
forget all of 2020, to be fair. if everything is
very
that.
true. How are we all doing? How was Christmas, New Year's?
It was tier 4 lockdown.
I'm still having the Christmas food. That's what I just had, actually.
Oh, do you know what? So am I. Bear turkey, fam.
Yeah, my family have this thing where they don't like having old food, so they just make me have all of it. So I'm just sat there having week-old everything. So yeah, that's me.
Did you guys have turkey as well?
I had chicken because, you know.
Yeah, okay.
I had turkey, but then the next day we didn't want turkey. We wanted actual food with flavor. So my mom sort of concocted the turkey into your standard chicken curry that you get in Bengali households.
That's
how
it's
just repurposed it for a, turkey curry. It's good.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would never do a turkey curry. The thing is, I've been hearing a lot of anti-turkey sentiment recently.
Yeah, fuck that.
And it's really upsetting me because I love turkey. I really like a good turkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like turkey. It's Christmassy, but it is in mid-tier for meat for me.
Yeah, I suppose I get the argument that roast lamb.
Turkey it has a very distinct flavor in my opinion, and it might be more dry and way harder to cook, but I mean it tastes like a special occasion, and that's what makes it special.
Well, I don't know. I'm convinced this is going to sound very uppity, but I'm convinced the people who don't enjoy turkey are not cooking it right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
or they overcook it and then there's no taste.
Exactly. Yeah. Because there's an art to cooking good. I mean, I don't know anything because my brother makes our Christmas dinner, but
same.
I think I'm sure there's an art to it, and if you get the art right, then you're fine.
I think my older bro, when he used to make the Christmas turkey every year, it's in the oven for 8 hours minimum. Secondly, he's preparing it from the night before, and it carries on to the next morning, until the next day, until the next night. It's like a 24-hour job, that is.
Yeah, 100%. It takes a lot of effort.
Marinating is important too. You
absolutely.
marinate out for 2 days.
And basting
that bad boy.
Basting.
There you go.
Yes,
We're on the same wavelength as
we know. We know how to cook. We know how to cook. It's because of the So other than that, we've had a good Christmas. New Year's. Have we got any plans for New Year's, boys?
Apart from the one that you've done on Discord.
Oh yeah, I'm hosting a Discord party.
Yeah,
which is I think an indictment of the circumstances that we find ourselves in.
Virtually emulating a club room with different rooms dedicated to different music genres.
Yeah,
it's just okay. I mean, it's a lot more effort than a lot of other people, and honestly, I can't do the whole Zoom call where everyone's talking, 20 people in the same room.
I was speaking to Ray about this today, actually. I saw him for a little bit, and basically, it's... Initially, I was thinking, oh, yeah, Zoom shit. But then I had a look at what you actually organize, and I was like, wow, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I kind of want to experience this.
Jump in.
Effort you've put in, Azan, for, the different room, the itinerary. You have a rock room here, the hip-hop room. You have, the dining area. You have different rooms for each thing, and it's really cool.
Because the thing is, I think it's really easy, especially this year. And I think we're going to touch on this later on. It's very easy to be very cynical, very upset, and for good reason. There are lots of bad things that have happened this year, but I mean, you've got to just do whatever you can to pick out some good stuff.
No,
haven't you? Otherwise, it's a waste. I'll tell you what is a waste, though. Apparently, according to a lot of gamers, the big news about Cyberpunk.
Oh,
and it's bad release.
I said we've been speaking about this since the first episode, and we've just sort of seen we went from oh my god, can't wait for Cyberpunk to come out, guys, to Cyberpunk just came out, guys, and now it's oh, Cyberpunk What? Guys.
It's just been it's just going from worse to worse. Like the devs, I feel bad for them. They're probably working they'll probably be working on weekends and crunching like crazy, trying to fix the game.
I know. Sucks.
While people are just complaining.
I'm worried, and I think I've spoken about this before, but I'm just worried that it's an indictment or like a kind of it's demonstration of where we're going with gaming. Like, No Man's Sky was like this as well, where it gets hyped so hard just so that they get those initial early sales, but actually they haven't finished the game for the scale of what it is, and then it releases, and they're like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah.
And then basically they just fix it post-release.
Now,
and they just spend time fixing post-release. And it's bad. I hate it.
A lot of it's about like a business and investors and making a profit as quickly as they can before, like, sort of like strike the iron while it's hot, right? That's what they were trying to do, because the hype and they had like 4 delays or something like that, and they had to eventually get out, and it was causing a lot of contention within the sort of fandom. But they shouldn't have released it, especially like they knew it was bad. They knew, oh shit, this is gonna tank, but we have to get it out somehow.
I think a lot of people actually, for people with high-end PCs, they didn't have as many problems. A lot of them were actually enjoying the game, but for slightly lower-end PCs, and it wasn't as good. PS5 and Xbox Series X, they have their issues, but it's still playable. However, on PS4 and Xbox One, and if you're playing on a base PS4 and Xbox One, it's like, no, it's unplayable.
It's literally unplayable is what they're saying.
It is. Yeah. It looked like I was looking at a Nintendo 64 game at some points. It crashed. It just felt like
and you played on
PS3
PS5,
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm playing on PS5 and it looks alright. It looks like a PS4 game in a way. But like, you turn on the HDR and it looks alright. It still looks gorgeous, like aesthetically, visually. Obviously, because it's a PS4 game, it's going to have PS4 graphics. I'm looking forward to the PS5 upgrade for the game. That's going to be really good. But on PS4, Sony, in a really unprecedented move, pulled it from their PlayStation Store. Yeah, and they were like offering refunds. It was crazy. Like, I think it's more of a cautionary tale, because if you rush a release like this, you build up the hype. Like, there's so many things that went wrong here. I think it definitely is a cautionary tale for all developers and publishers in the future to wait till a game is actually playable, because releasing something like this, where it could even harm the actual console itself, or puts way too much issues to the point where like people are just refunding it because it is unplayable, is a massive.
I'll tell you one console that clearly hasn't suffered from this issue. And that's the KFC console.
Oh,
the KF console.
Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
KF
shit. That's
console.
where my money's going, boy.
Finger-licking games.
Is going to be amazing. If it overheats, it's just going to warm your chicken inside. It's all good. It's a function.
Crazy.
I just can't believe that they actually... I remember it getting teased like a while back, and I can't believe they actually could do it. Like, it's actually got some insane specs. Yeah, it's basically a high-end gaming PC.
Yeah, it's running some ridiculously high specs. And apparently there's a tray for chicken. I really want them to... I know it's going to be a joke. Like, it is a joke, essentially. It is a marketing gimmick.
Yeah, for real.
But I hope they really follow through and actually put a few into production. It'll probably cost something insane, like £3,000 or something.
Wasn't KFC, like, running out of chicken, like, a couple years ago? Because they were struggling to supply chicken.
So diversify their business.
And now they're like, oh shit, we're going to have to tap into that gaming market now.
KFC's the one that
put all the... Shit.
KFC's the one that, bought all the RTX 3080s in bulk.
And they put it into...
And they just shoved it into a bucket. And they were like, all right, cool.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on.
That's funny, dude.
I've got some other news that we can talk about. This is very exciting news for us. Which is that this week we're starting the Triple Tap Gaming Smash League, aren't we? Triple Tap Smash
Bros.
Yeah. So this is there's a news for our followers then, which is that as a podcast we've decided to start a Smash Bros League, and it's going to be great. It's basically there's 10 players, and we are playing in a weekly league with matchups, 5 different matchups each week. A lot of the matches will be streamed on Twitch. And we're also going to be recording some of the matches and putting out some of the clips on YouTube. So yeah, make sure you guys follow that. That's our little plug for the Smash League, and we're all very excited for it. And I'm very confident that I'm going to win.
Where are we going to host this Smash Bros
totally.
League?
Oh well, as in where we're going to host it. Yeah, so the Twitch stream we'll put up the links with the podcast and on YouTube and so on. But it'll be on Twitch Triple Tap Gaming, Twitch.tv. Actually, do you know what? This is really funny. The Twitch .tv hyperlink is twitch.tv/Triple Tap Gamings, because they wouldn't have Triple Tap Gaming was taken. So I just added added an S on the end.
Triple Tap Gamings.
Triple Tap Gamings. So yeah.
Also, we have a Discord as well. So
Yes,
if you want to join that community and hang out with us when we play Smash,
link in the description.
Yep.
Yeah.
Below.
And for future events as well, you know.
Yeah.
We'll be doing loads of things.
We're expanding.
Yeah. This guy wants to do GTA heists. There might be other games coming out. People might want to play some Overwatch.
Animal Crossing parties.
Animal Crossing parties.
Basically, we would love to play with you guys. So if you're listening to us, we want to play with you.
Yes. What he said.
Oh no.
I just looked directly into the camera as I said that as well.
You should have done that. Yeah, I did as well. Yeah. We're going to get cancelled so quick.
Oh no.
3 episodes in and we're already cancelled. Anyway, right. Yeah. Speaking of getting cancelled and other bad things happening to people,
2020.
I've got a question for us. The question that we've got. I mean, it only makes sense given that this is basically towards the end of the year now. The question I've got for us today, chaps, is 2020 the worst year of our lives so far?
Wow. I mean, 2016 was pretty shit. So
2016 was really bad. I had a really good 2016. 2016 was awesome for me personally. It was a good time.
Okay, fair.
But no,
because you're a massive
2020
Trump supporter, obviously.
I think universally 2020 has been a bit of a write-off.
Yeah,
that's an understatement in itself.
I feel like we should just repeat 2020.
Right?
Just do it again.
Yeah, just restart it.
Restart it how it's meant to go.
There's all those memes, isn't it, where it's like 31st December 2020, and it's like it goes past the midnight clock, and then it's like 1st January 2020 again.
And you wake up and you're like, oh fuck, it's like a Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. Just starts all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously everybody, we all know that there's been a really tough year for everyone.
Yeah. Definitely.
With things like I was watching on Netflix Charlie Brooker's Death to 2020 on Netflix.
Was that any good?
It was good. Yeah, had a very good very funny summary of all the things that happened this year, whilst also somber in the relevant ways. I got reminded of stuff that I completely forgot about, like stuff like the fact that we nearly went to World War III.
My god!
Right at the start of the year,
and I thought that was like.
Yeah, you thought
crazy.
That was a bad start, right?
Yeah, I know.
Where like Trump shot down an Iranian military chief. Like,
that's right. Yeah,
and
there was the Australian wildfires as well.
Yeah, Australia was burning from December till like 2020 January. That happened.
All bad stuff.
We
and
have,
then, of course,
Kobe, rest in peace as well.
Kobe, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Kobe was February.
really big people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant, and then
the C word, of course.
COVID.
We all know about that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even want to. I don't even want to mention it at this point. I just want to skip past it.
Obviously, during that BLM as well. Black Lives Matter.
Big moment. Yeah, definitely.
All of that's
big
happening.
moment for there, and it just kept happening and happening. But would you say the latter half Q4 2020 slightly picking up? Hope for the future.
Know. As in, yes.
Not for the
Trump's
UK,
out.
but
not for the UK, bro.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna be stuck here for a while.
Yeah, not for us.
So it looks like.
No.
Yeah, for the US at least. Certainly, we're happy to see Trump out. But you
Yeah.
know what? Even though it's been a terrible year, I guess the question for us on this podcast is: has it been a bad year for gaming? Because that's what we really care about.
Definitely not. It's been one of the best years for gaming.
Actually, yeah, I agree with the Deeb there. One of the best years for gaming. It's been so good. So good.
Not just in terms of like games being announced and games like coming out, the games that have come out, but just in general for the gaming industry, it's probably
100%.
seen the healthiest growth and just active users in a long time because everyone's at home.
Yeah.
The fact that I still don't have a PS5 is probably testament to that.
Yeah.
Just that that's how well gaming is doing, and I'm happy for it.
A whole new generation of consoles came without a hitch, really. Like, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the hitch being the supply issues.
Yes,
But that being said, like the
Let's
fact that
be
they've still had
honest.
such a healthy sale, right? So
yeah.
PS5 is now the best-selling console of all time.
Well, they're just doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
To be
there we
honest,
go.
It's just selling
they
out
know
so
they're gonna sell
quickly,
out.
yeah.
They want it to sell out, but like
Yeah. There was
they could
uh,
probably make some more. Oh, of
Yeah.
course, it's not easy, but it's a good look on them, isn't it?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
sold out our console.
There was a meme that was going around recently.
Yeah.
Like in Avengers Endgame when Thor's like, with what is it, Korg, and he's playing on the PS4. Because Avengers Endgame takes place like 5 years after 2018, so it's like set in 2025, 2023, and he's playing on a PS4. It's like, oh yeah, they're still playing on a PS4 because the PS5 is still out of stock.
That's really funny.
Yo, listen to this though. Like, let's talk about like, should we talk about it in like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or do you guys want to just do like your whole year individually and then?
Well, yeah, I
like
thought
the-
my idea was that because sometimes it's hard for me to segment things in that Q1, 2, 3, 4.
Because you might
way.
not have played it in that way. In
I
that
can't
order.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
Time was very relative for us this year. Like I feel like there
Yeah.
were moments where I was in Q4 already, and then back into Q2, and then back into Q3.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, so I was thinking that maybe what we could do is why don't we do our own top 5 games of the year?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we can do, we can basically we'll go around and we'll have a little chat about our top 5 games of the year. And I think the tack we'll probably take with this is slightly different to like some of the other gaming podcasts that you might hear where they're taking a more sort of like professional angle or just games of 2020. But I think we're going to talk a little bit, at least I wanted to talk about a couple of games that might have come out before 2020, but
Like
were definitely
our games
important.
of
Yeah.
our year.
Exactly.
Like,
for
I might
ours.
have been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2, maybe.
if you
But
were,
if I played
that-
it this
that
year,
would be
then
trash.
it's my game of the year. Like.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was your game.
Everyone's
Imagine
been
that
playing
was
Among
the game.
Us, and that came out 2018,
2018,
2015
yeah,
or something.
Did
Yeah.
Among Us come out
so-
2018?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came out
I
ages
had
ago,
no
dude.
idea.
It
It
came
just
out
popped off
ages
this
ago,
year.
and then like some streamer
That's
picked it up
wild.
and it just blew up. Yeah.
For real, yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. That's
And it's still got
well-
Game of the Year award nominations
Yeah, yeah.
in like thing,
That's
even though it
insane.
came
I
out
had no idea.
2018. I feel like it came out, but it wasn't ever recognized until 2020. So
right. That's so. I had no. That's so interesting. Well, there we go, and hence that justifies very much our decision for this. Right. So,
Yeah.
well, let's get right into it then. What we're going to
Let's do
do,
it.
we're going to start with the number 5s. We'll go around, talk a little bit about our number 5s. There might be a bit of crossover, but that's to be expected. So yeah, let's.
Do you guys have like your entire list out, or do you just have your top 5s?
I've just got my top 5s, but you can throw in some honorable mentions.
I wanted to mention like how many games I played this year, because holy crap,
Oh damn!
it was kind of difficult for me to make a top 5 because I played over 20 new games this year,
Well, that's pretty
That's
good.
like-
That's pretty good going.
almost 2 games a month, brand new
That
games.
that for me is the fact that you are freshly just done being a student. That's what that is.
No, wait. Did you forget that for the first 6 months of this year, I was in my finals doing my dissertation and final year exams, and I still
yeah,
managed
okay.
to pull this off.
All right, fine.
But obviously, the last 6 months, oh my.
Yeah.
I have been the biggest weeb gamer, just watching anime and playing games, sleeping when the sun rises, waking up in darkness.
Waking
sort
up
of
to your
shit.
anime body
So
pillow.
what you don't want to do is walk into Izhar's room right now because it probably smells like gamer in there.
Oh,
Hey,
God,
no,
yeah.
hey.
It smells like a
hey,
Smash
hey.
Bros convention.
He's probably
I
probably got
literally
5
just put on deodorant, mate.
He's got 5 bottles of Gamer Girl bathwater around him.
Belle Delphine's Darth
Yeah.
bathwater.
Oh God. Ugh. Right. Anyway,
Yeah.
on to our top 5s then. So
Alright, who wants to go first then? Oh, wait, so are we gonna do 5, 5, 5, 4, 4?
Yeah.
I'm
5,
ready
5,
on it.
5, 4, 4, and so on. Yeah. So
I've
I'll
got my
start.
list written down as 1, 2, 4, 3, 5 because I decided to switch
I
the
wanna
two orders around.
mention quickly then all the games that I played this year. Just a quick
Wait,
rundown
is this
to
the
see.
honorable mentions or is this the top 5?
No, this is just every
Just
single
the,
game I
just
played
he
this
just
year.
wants to flex how many
I just want to flex
how
You
little
wanna-
of a life
Tell
we've
us.
had.
No. Don't tell us. Don't tell us all the games because we want to hear for the first time the top 5. How about this? I'll give you the chance now to say your honorable
Honorable
mentions.
mentions. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
Go
Okay.
for it.
My honorable mentions for this year would be Persona 5. Over there.
That's good. Yeah,
I did play this. Yeah.
it's great. I mean, it's such a good game. Nothing to say there.
Among Us.
I'm waiting for the Switch release. Among Us, yeah,
would
of
be
course.
a huge honorable
You
mention.
can't not talk about 2020 and not talk about Among Us.
100%. 100%.
And Life is Strange / A Way Out. They're two. I don't know why I slashed it, but they're
Are
they're
they
two
part of
different
like
games.
some like Life is Strange, A Way Out game
No, they're
cinematic universe?
I was going to do 3 honorable mentions, and then I realized I wanted to also mention 4, so then I did slash, but then I realized they're completely different games.
Yeah, one's like a prison break game, and the other one's about a teenage girl going through.
That'd be like
school
FIFA
shit.
21 / COD.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are my honorable mentions because I think they
Okay.
deserve a mention.
I'm going to add to that. I've got some honorable mentions, which is the big one for me, Fall Guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
So-
God! Me, Azan, and Deep. When it first
Do you
came
remember?
out on
Do you remember
PlayStation,
we were playing Fall Guys?
we were playing it and we was trying to grind that win for
Yeah,
so
yeah.
long. I still haven't got it, by the way.
I ended up winning 3 times.
I
Wow.
came a second like 5 times and I just gave up after that. I remember
So,
one time, you know the one where you're like up the ramp and you have to time the jump and then grab it. As I was jumping, this dickhead bumped into me. We both fell down and some other slow guy came like 5 seconds later and jumped
Yeah,
and
and
got
then
it.
won.
Yeah, it was the worst, dude.
I just
man.
love the Takeshi's Castle vibes of the entire game. Like,
It's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
That's great.
Wipeout and all of
It's
that. all of that.
literally Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah, 100%.
But the game is. I
there,
love
there
that.
were a few of those maps. I was just like, I can't do them. They're just annoying as hell. Like,
It was just too much.
I think
So,
there
yeah,
was one
that's-
with like the
that's-
spinny thing on the floor. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that's definitely one of my honorable mentions. I've also got down here. I definitely agreed with Among Us. 2020. That
Huge.
such a
huge
storm.
game.
Because what was interesting was that you had Fall Guys doing really well for a little while, and then Among Us came and just kind of blew it out of the water, and everybody forgot about
Oh,
Fall
yeah.
Guys.
Everyone
you
forgot.
have like U.S. Congress people like playing Among Us with like YouTube and Twitch streamers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Like, it
there
got
you go.
that big. Like AOC,
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Ninja,
That's right.
I think.
Yeah. Insane. Well, there we go. The way that gaming spreads.
Generally,
So-
I feel like this year, I think social games like
Yeah.
Among Us really were
Well,
shining through.
The
Because,
thing is, it's like
even,
these games have always
Yeah.
existed, but it's just like they never had the opportunity to like show themselves to the wider public until
Because
people were
everyone
like,
was
okay, what do we do?
Too
Yeah.
busy with their normal lives. But now they're like, oh shit, I want interaction. This game enables that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Kind of
There
a match
was,
made in heaven, really.
there was a
Phasmophobia as
similar
well, so I
game.
mentioned that.
Oh shit.
'Cause, yeah, it's a lot of social interaction and being scared with your friends. That's the
Oh,
premise.
Being scared.
Phasmophobia. Yeah,
Yeah,
Phasmophobia
Phasmophobia.
is another
Lot of
sleeper
fun.
hit this
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
for sure.
I also very much I know there's a 2019 game,
Yeah.
but I played a lot of Pokemon Sword this year, and this like it was my first proper Pokemon, to believe it or not, because
Nice.
I'd never
dude.
really played Pokemon, so I
It's
know a lot
sapphire
of
for
people
me.
were disappointed by it for numerous reasons,
Oh, numerous.
but
Hashtag
You know what?
Dexit.
yeah, exactly. But
Exit.
you know what? It was my first Pokemon game, and as far as I was concerned, I had a really good time.
Yeah.
So
Did you like
whatever.
the British isms in that game?
I did, yeah. I did like the fact that it was all set in Britain and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, fine,
that
fine,
was
fine.
fun. That was good
I
to
was
see.
a little bit concerned because, like, when that game first came out, I was like, oh, they might just go for the absolutely stereotypical route and just, like, be, like, sipping tea and everyone's wearing top hats or some shit, like,
I
how
kinda wish they
Americans
did.
perceive it. But the thing is, they didn't.
that'd
They
be
went for,
funny.
like, absolutely, like, in-jokes and references that we'd get. Like,
yeah, 100%.
there's a Pokemon equivalent of, like, a Costa coffee. If you walk past, it's got the same color scheme, virtually the same logo. And I think
Yeah, yeah.
when I knew that they did the UK justice was when we went to the train station to get to the next town, and then they realized the train is delayed because there were just a bunch of sheep on the tracks. And
Classic.
I was,
That's
it was
very
literally a
good.
few sentences that were saying because
Oh,
of the
there's a
signal
pidgey on the
failure,
tracks.
the
Yeah,
train's
that's
delayed.
so
I was
funny.
like, this is the UK. This
Literally,
is
that
the UK.
happens
That's
so
literally
much,
it.
dude.
So yeah.
And then there's
another-
that mutual friend of ours in that game, Raihan from Birmingham.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Our-
god.
our mutual
Yeah,
friend
Yeah,
Is one of the trainers, Raihan. Wild. I've got one final honourable mention, which a lot of people again will disagree with me on, But actually, you know what? Again, I never got to play those games the first time round, so I'm glad that they came out in that form. So, Super Mario 3D All Stars.
You played that, really?
Yeah, I got it. I got it and played it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
3 months to try and get it before it's gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
damn.
the thing is, I actually got it on a really good deal. I got it for like £25
Oh, cool.
That's very good.
because I had like
Not bad.
coupon vouchers for like Tesco Club Card, and I saw it on the shelves. I was like, yeah, why not?
Damn, son.
But yeah, so I've actually, I've enjoyed that. But
Yeah.
basically, I feel like, this has been very much a theme of this year, which is that even though the gaming industry has done very well, gamers have not stopped complaining about anything. There's been so many things that gamers have complained about.
Cyberpunk, and I want
Cyberpunk. Last of Us 2.
Oh
And then
my
it's-
god, there's a bisexual character?
Literally, despite
Oh,
gaming
real
successes,
lesbian.
that
Oh my God.
sometimes this community does let it down. But I
know.
won't flame on you too hard. But yeah. Sometimes I do get annoyed, but it is what it is. But yeah, so those are my honourable mentions.
Sometimes
Adib.
I get annoyed that you still haven't finished a God of War, but
Okay,
it's okay.
Don't start.
Yeah.
Okay, Adib, could you please tell us some of your honourable mentions?
Okay, yeah, since we're getting honorable mentions out the way, I actually also wanted to drop in Pokemon. As someone who's played Pokemon, a lot of people have issues, and honestly, I also kind of had issues with the game. It wasn't the perfect game, but I need my yearly Pokemon fix. What can I say? All right,
Yeah.
but the reason why is because of the DLC. Like,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the DLC this time around. I think it was a really good view into what a Pokemon game will look like in the future.
It really makes you
'Cause
feel
All the
like a
DLCs are
Pokemon.
fully open world, and it's like you can see all the Pokemon out there. And the second one, the Crown Tundra, was actually really good.
I'm just watching Izhar because he's so upset.
Oh yeah,
I really like the bit where you can accidentally delete your entire profile and then never play again. That's my favorite
dude,
bit.
you
That
could have
shit-
just played the game again.
No, I was on like a 6th gym leader. I wasn't even enjoying the game at that point. I just wanted to finish it for the sake of finishing it.
Whole profile deleted. That's so
Yeah.
sad.
Listen, all I did was just max out my what's the name? Incineroar? No, it's not Incineroar. Infernape. Oh my god, I'm like 4 generations behind.
Cinderace,
Cinderace, yeah. She had
Football
that
Rabbit. Yes.
All I would do was spam that one move where she kicks the football into the other Pokemon and then they just all die. That's all I did. That's all I had to do to get
Yeah.
that far into the game.
Well, it was never made
Yeah.
for a challenge, really.
I know.
Adib, do you have any other honourable mentions?
Yeah, actually I do. Resident Evil 4 on the Switch because I thought it was on sale
Resi.
and everyone loves that game. I played Revelations on the 3DS. I was like, yeah, this is all right. But Resident Evil 4 was really fun. You could feel like it was a PS2 game, like it had its dated mechanics. That knife was overpowered and it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, it's supposed to be a horror game, but that game is stupid in the best way possible sometimes. Honestly, I'd put it as comedy horror, not
Haven't
just
played it, though.
horror.
Haven't played.
Like, it's great. Like, there are moments in it where you're just like, it's so fun.
Some games are just like so bad they become
yeah.
quite good.
Like
But the-
speaking of Resident Evil, though, I played Resident Evil 7 on
Oh, yeah.
stream actually back when I was on the whole Twitch streaming hype. Played the whole game and actually a scary, unsettling game, and not even just like scary. Yeah, scary for one, and it drew a lot of inspiration from PT. But it is the one game that I can say has made me feel the most uncomfortable and genuinely made me feel sick. If you watch
Wow.
my latest streams, which is it might be on my channel, it might not. I was genuinely feeling lightheaded and sick from just the visuals and how the game was, which is not a good thing, but also it's a testament that wow, a game can make me feel sick. That's crazy.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least you didn't
Yeah.
play in VR. That would have been
Oh, God.
like,
That would have killed me.
yikes.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been fun though. Anyways, but yeah.
Mod
Yeah.
worth trying out.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
our honourable mentions out the way then.
Oh,
Um,
actually, I have one more.
Oh, you have one more? Okay, go
I
ahead.
kind of
Yeah.
went on a Resident Evil gaming spree, so I played Resident Evil 4, saw Leon in his PS2 graphics glory, and then I jumped on into Resident Evil 2, which came out
Resident Evil 2.
multiple years after Resident Evil 4, like the remaster. So I literally
Oh,
went Resident
yeah.
Evil 4,
I
then
I
Resident
heard that
Evil
was
2.
really good though.
It was
The
really
two.
good. It
Like,
it
the
genuinely
remakes
is a really
seem
good game.
incredible,
Like
yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, the knife was not as overpowered as it was in Resident Evil 4,
How old
and
Resi 2, by the
you
way?
weren't this heroic badass like, you know, special agent forces. You were just some beat cop. So this was technically like watching the origin story of Leon. And yeah, it was a lot harder. And obviously with the graphics being a lot better. And
How long is the game though?
it's not that long. Like both games are about, like, they clock in about 15 hours per
So maybe
playthrough?
Azar might have a chance
to
Fuck
finish
off,
God of
just
War.
maybe.
Yes.
Fuck you.
to finish God of War.
To finish any fucking game. Okay, right. So I guess that's our honorable mentions then.
Yep.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
done.
So, let's go to the main list. So for me, I'll start with number 5 then. So for me, number 5. This is a game that isn't from 2020, but is a game that I've started playing a lot more and started appreciating in 2021. And also, I think the other thing is because of all the DLC that's come out for it,
Yeah.
I've just started to enjoy it a lot more, which is Super
Shower with
Smash
your dad.
Bros.
Oh, sorry.
What did you say?
What?
Shower
No,
with Your
what?
Dad Simulator 2015. Top game of all time.
Do you know what? I actually did play a lot of simulators this year. I played a lot of simulators. I played
Let's not go to...
Let's not go
Smash
down
Bros.
it
Smash
because
Bros,
I
go.
played Train Simulator. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, right. So
Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate is my number 5. So yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
no, yeah. My favorite fighting game of all time. I'm so glad you mentioned this. You've finally seen the light.
Thing is, I know I started off as a Street Fighter player, and it took me a while to get into Smash Bros. I got it like 2 years ago, or whenever it came out, and I enjoyed playing it somewhat, but I just never understood it. Like for me, like you have to like one of my first games was Street Fighter. That was like one of my earliest game memories. So since the age of 5, all I've ever known is fighting games where you have to do input commands.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to suddenly start playing a game that like Smash, which is intricate and technical in its own way as well, it was a big like step up for me. So
Definitely.
I'm hoping that our league will also,
Oh,
imbue
yeah.
me
It's gonna
to
be so much
a lot
fun.
For
more.
sure.
We're having a
I
lot
think
of
with
fun
Smash as well.
anyways.
It's like,
Playing every night.
for a lot of fighting game purists, they don't see it as a fighting game, see it as a party game. Because, look, the creators themselves
It was
are like, oh
created
yeah,
to
it's
be
a
one.
party
Yeah.
game, you know?
It is a
Like, the
party
entire
game.
reason why Smash was really inspired, it was inspired by the fact that Sakurai, when he was, you know, playing a fighting game in the arcades with just a bunch of casual friends, you know, who don't really play fighting games, they were playing King of Fighters or something, and he just bodied them so hard at the point that they weren't having fun because
Yeah.
fighting games aren't the most intuitive game ever. So he wanted a really accessible game with really intuitive elements that anyone can pick up and play and not get confused. Yet somehow people still get confused. I don't
the amount of
understand.
times newcomers always fall off the map and then they're dead. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
Because it's,
you
I
know,
mean, it's a
you
different
don't
format,
get-
isn't it? But the thing
Very
that's
format,
interesting, the most I think about Smash Bros is that it's easy to play but difficult to master.
Yeah.
It's like there's, you know, I'm starting to learn just
Actually, I don't
how
know.
intricate, but it's so intricate. There's,
I
you know,
think
and I say
it
this,
is easy to play, but it has a learning curve to play at a okay level. It has that like initial learning curve because if it feels really clunky at first, and then there's recovery moves, staying on stage, blocking, all of that. I feel like there's a bit of a curve, especially like for example with like a Tekken, you can give it to let's say you're a girlfriend who has never played a game in her life. She can headbutt the controller and win. Right, just by
You
a
can
button
just do
mashing. Yeah,
this.
that exactly.
You can just do
That
this
exactly,
and win
right?
in Tekken.
When it comes to
Just-
Smash Bros,
just-
you can't do that. You'll just end
I mean,
up.
you could
falling off the
spam,
stage.
you could spam bees.
Yeah. But even
Yeah.
that requires
Or like
a little bit of skill.
you
know?
can find that one thing that one character does and stay in the corner. Like with Pikachu, you can just keep using Thunder constantly.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
if you're like, I don't know, Meta Knight, just use side B all the time and do nothing else.
But even with that, you know that you're spamming a move that will hurt them. With Tekken, you can just literally press any button on that controller. You can't even. You can look away from the screen and just smack that controller. I have a chance at winning. Which
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
traditional fighting games have an edge there. But then once you get just a little bit more proficient, it's so accessible to everyone at that point. Because you can play whoever you want and it's not as serious.
Yeah, because all the controls
It's
are the
very varied.
same. Whereas each fighter
Yeah.
in a traditional fighting game has their own unique moveset with specific commands and specific combos
I think
and all
that's a
that
fair
kind of
point.
stuff.
That's a fair point.
Whereas, okay, so I was watching a really long video by this YouTuber going by Cosmonaut Variety Hour, who
I've
said
heard
that
of
like
him, yeah.
Street Fighter was kind of like like a classical music, if you had to compare it to music genres, where like there's a lot more rigid rules and a lot more like things to it, where it's a lot more structured, whereas Smash Bros is a lot more like jazz. There's no specific combos because you make a lot of things up on the fly and you sort of improvise a lot more. And I think that's a really important thing that I think distincts it. And I think it's the platforming element too, like the fact that there's jumping and there's not just air combos, but like air attacks, which is something that's regular fighting games don't have.
Well, I think so. That's probably why having learned, especially as someone who had to work hard to understand Smash, and I have started to this year. I think that's for me why I'm putting it up number 5 for me on my list.
Okay, let's hear yours, Adib.
My number 5 is also Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I need to.
Let's go.
Nice.
Okay, I know it came out 2018, but from my side, I honestly think like if you had to compare all the games that we have in terms of the hype level, Smash Bros. Never dies down because there's always something to look forward to. And the characters that have been coming out in Smash Bros. Are insane. Already, the base roster is like one of the most ambitious crossovers ever.
In game history.
Like, ever in gaming history. Yeah. It's insane. Like, to a casual person that is, vaguely familiar with video game icons, you have, like, someone that you recognize at least.
There will always be at least one character that you can recognize and be like, I want to play them because I know them.
And how they've just branched off into third-party characters as well, third-party titles. Having some of the most insane people.
Yeah. The amount of my friends that would look at Link and be like, oh my god, they have Zelda in this game. And I'm like, yeah, Zelda's there. Yeah, you can play as Zelda. The Legend of Zelda, you can play as
Zelda,
him. You can play as him.
Oh god.
Okay,
so fair enough. Okay, Smash Bros. As well.
Just the hype and the announcements. The Sephiroth and
It wouldn't be gaming without this one game. And this game, it didn't come out in 2020 or 2019 or 2016 or 2015. It came out in 2016. Overwatch. Come on.
Okay, fine.
One of my favorite games pretty much of all time at this point. I've been playing it for 2 years. Clocked in about 500 to 600 hours in it. Consistently been playing it since 2018. And it's been a huge part of my year. Love the game, still play it to this day. You guys saw me stream it and had no idea what was going on. But
it was insane. It's insane. I've got to say,
it's my favorite competitive game.
Yeah, it is a fun. I mean, all of it. It is a. I definitely don't doubt, because even though it's not the sort of game that I play normally, watching it is, it's exciting. Like, I can see why it's a big esports game, because it's very exhilarating to watch.
Yeah, as an esports is shit. Like, it's doing so shit because they haven't really optimized it. But Overwatch 2 is coming out.
Yeah,
isn't that just Overwatch though, with more stuff?
Oh, it's like a huge expansion, but like to the point where it's a sequel. Like, they are really. I think that they're really gonna push Overwatch 2 to be that game. Like, that game that can contend with CS:GO and like League of Legends. Because
the thing is,
it's sort of dwindling in the esports scene. But as a game, it's still incredibly fun. But esports wise, it's sort of, because it's hard to balance a game where there's 31, I think, or 31, 32 heroes, where they're all equally as balanced and as viable in a first-person shooter. It's really hard to do that. Yeah, and they've done pretty well, to be fair.
As far as shooters go, honestly, like, Overwatch has some of the most exciting characters to look at. Like, there's so many unique characters in that game. And some of them, like, makes me think, oh, this would be a really good movie or a TV show or something like that. And, like, it looks cool. Like, super presentable.
And it's a team game. It's where it really shines when you cooperate with your teammates and everyone's doing the right thing. And when something just works, when there's so much team synergy and it works, right? It's an amazing feeling. And I would wholeheartedly say some of the best gaming moments of my entire life have been this year playing Overwatch at night with my Overwatch friends. The amount of like stomach hurting laughter we'd have from just playing this game is just it's incredible. So that's why
that's great. Okay, well, fair enough. Okay, so that's our number 5s then. Yep. That's great. Yeah. It's nice to see. Right, so number 4s then.
Yeah.
My number 4 is another game that didn't come out this year, although it did come out at the tail end of 2019, and the majority of my playtime was spent this year. you know what, I was so happy to see it. I was so happy to play it. That's Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah,
Yes.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say it
Dante.
came out this year because definitive PS5 edition.
Yeah, exactly. So I can
Technically,
make that argument.
you can,
I'll make that argument. Thing is, you know what? The thing about there was a period of time, especially between after Devil May Cry 4 came out, and then there was that DMC Devil May Cry. There was a period of time for a long time where DMC fans were like, "Devil May Cry's dead. It's done.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's over. It's over."
because
now."
of the remake, isn't it? That
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
thought was shite.
Because of that, yeah, exactly, that remake game where they fucked up Dante, and everybody was like, "DMC's dead in the water." So
I really enjoyed that game, by the way. Just want to put that out there. But
A
Yeah,
lot of
it
people
was-
love to hate on it, but it deserves credit on its own. I think it's
no,
definitely
DMC 5
A lot
is
of people that hate on it
aged
just
well over
didn't
time.
really play it. The gameplay was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was actually
a fantastic
incredibly
game.
tight.
And you know
as
what? I
hack
think
and
people
slash.
who I know there'll be some true diehard DMC fans who don't like it, but there are also loads of DMC fans who absolutely loved it because of what
loved
it brought
it,
back.
yeah.
So I had such a great time with it, and it was good to see a game that I've loved for a long time just saved, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it was saved and it's back and it's
There
good.
was a point where Bayonetta was the new Devil May Cry, and now Devil
Yeah.
May Cry 5 came out. I was like, yeah, well, we're still relevant, and we're still. This is the reason why we've been relevant for over 20 years.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Insane.
So,
Insane. So
yeah.
DMC 5 for me for number 4.
Yeah.
Adib?
For mine, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
'Cause
Cyberpunk
look,
2007.
all right, as glitchy as it is, a lot of that can be superficial, but in the heart and soul of the game and the bones of the game is incredible. Like it's such a solid game. Like in terms of the gameplay mechanics, if you take away the bugs, once they fix it, it would have if it came out not as broken as it did, it would have been many people's Game of the Year contender for sure. Like, it is impressive what they've done with the world. Like, just the general cyberpunk aesthetic, the music, the vibes, the story, the characters,
The
just
penis
like the
slider.
sort of deeper roleplay game element, like in it, where the character progression system happens, the weapons involved, like the hacking and everything. Like, it feels like a combination of GTA, Skyrim, and like, you know, Ghost in the Shell, and like, it has so many amazing references. Like, it is a deep
Ghost in the
world, and
Shell.
like sometimes when it is good, it's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And
I think I genuinely believe that mid 2021, ignoring the PS5 edition for now, but by the time it comes to 2021 and they've managed to resolve a lot of issues, it will really shine out. Like it's like one of those. I feel like Witcher 3 was like this as well, which is that, especially when it's such a big open world game, it takes a minute for it to settle in. Like it's like a fine wine or cheese, you know. It takes time to mature, and I think after a while, certainly, you know. And I'm glad that you put it on your list because we can see that it has the makings of a brilliant game, but it just needs that a bit of time for it to settle in.
exactly. It like, I would say hold off on buying it now, but I think it's one of those games that once patched, once developed, it will definitely be celebrated. Like, wait for the Game of the Year edition or version of the game when it comes
As
out.
in, I don't
for
know
sure.
if it's gonna get a Game of the Year edition, but that's okay.
I mean, yeah.
It has to be Game of
fine.
the Year first to get a Game of the Year edition.
Sure,
But
yeah.
the complete edition.
The
yeah.
complete edition with
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the DLC and everything
Yeah.
fixed, because they will add in loads of features that you can tell that they wanted to do a lot more with the game, but due to time constraints, they were like, we can't fully put it in. Like, you can't
New
customize
feature.
your character.
Oh my god! Pay $6.99 for 60 FPS frame rate.
No, there's
That's the
there's
feature they
one
need.
thing that what is it, CD Projekt Red is good for, is value for money. Like, their DLC content are like the size of a full RPG game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
like a very reasonable amount. They don't do microtransactions and bullshit like that. They're actually
Yeah.
really good in that sense. And
Okay.
they did say like a lot of the DLC will be free and it's just add-on content. And also to preface, Smash Bros. Ultimate is a favorite game of mine, but I will prioritize games that came out this year and rank them higher as a thing.
Okay. Cool.
Just
I respect that.
saying.
Okay. My number 4 game. I forgot it, so I'm looking at my piece of paper. Is actually a game that was a contender for Game of the Year.
Ooh.
Quite by like the masses, and it definitely I would say it might is it. I would love to put it higher. I really want to put it higher, but there's so many good games that came out this year. It's really hard for me, but I'm going to say Hades.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hades,
Cool.
one of the most unique looking and sounding and feeling games, relatively indie, and
Oh yeah,
it's one of those
Supergiant, right?
games I love. Roguelike games, right? Those games where it's like an infinite loop, arcadey, pure fun, like combinations of like different like items and weapons and spells, and playing it again and again is to see how far you can get. With a lot of good addictive difficulty and boss fights. The visuals spectacular, the soundtrack immaculate.
Yeah.
Actually having
Yeah.
a good story and characters. You know how like in most games, even games that are known for their storyline, I skip the dialogue because I cannot be asked, right? Hades, the voice acting is superb to the T. It sounds
Wow,
so
okay, yeah.
so compelling to listen to the characters, like all from Greek mythology, and the game is just it's just so good. I highly recommend you guys play it. I played it at the beginning of my year when it was in early access in January, and I no lifed it for so long. I used to literally wake up first thing in the morning and play it because I just really wanted to play it. I remember I would just like feel I was so absorbed. It's one of those games where once you get into it, like you forget about your surroundings.
Wow, yeah.
That's how much.
I mean, there's a
pure
reason
fun.
it got so many nominations at the Game
Yeah.
of the Year awards.
So
Was-
good,
Yeah.
so
Probably a
good.
reason.
Honestly, yeah,
I think-
that's
okay.
why.
Supergiant generally like guaranteed good soundtrack, like Darren
Hmm.
Corbin, the producer, like the
Yeah.
the composers and everything. Every single like Supergiant games pretty much had a stellar soundtrack, and
Yeah.
the gameplay and the story and voice acting is always been tight.
Replayability, like I said as well. You
Yeah.
can play the game 1,000 times and still keep on playing it because there's new things to find and discover and do. You say to yourself, goals, different difficulties. It's just, it harkens back to a time where it was like, hey, games are for fun, and this is going to be fun, arcadey
Yeah.
fun. And that's what
We need more of that.
We do.
So yeah, okay, fine. So that's our five and four done. I'm conscious of time,
Yes.
so I'm gonna do 3 and 2 together.
Okay, let's do that.
And we'll do that because I also suspect there's gonna be some crossover.
Uh-huh.
So number 3 for me is Animal Crossing: New Horizons,
Hey.
Yeah.
and then number 2
Yeah.
is even though I've not finished it, but it is still I can already tell that it's going to be one of the best games I've ever played.
Don't say
Last
it.
of Us Part 2.
You can't.
Wow.
I can't.
Listen,
Why?
look, I mean,
You've been saying
my-
you've been wanting to finish.
Oh my
Last
god,
of Us
I
Part
just got
2,
to
like,
Abby's bit, bro.
month
How
ago.
long left?
Okay,
Come on,
happened?
leave me
bro.
alone. I can. Basically, you guys do not ever stop fucking taking the mick out of me for not finishing this. I'm just a very busy, popular, interesting guy, and it's difficult to always get time to play games. But when I do, I play them. Right now,
When I play games, I play them.
anyway, Last of Us Part 2. Fuck you, Izhar. Right, Adib, what are your 3 and 2 to stop me through the embarrassment?
All right, my 3 is Spider-Man Miles Morales. While it's short,
Miles Morales.
it was my
Miles.
entry into the PS5.
Yeah.
It was me taking those days off and just seeing this spectacle and just being like, holy shit, this Spider-Man game is spectacular. It's amazing.
like you
it's
felt like you were stepping into the new generation.
yeah, I mean, like, it's so good. And the story, the voice acting, the visuals, like the soundtrack, it's incredible. Like, they have done a really good job with Miles Morales, like with him and his
You've been doing the top again.
exaggerated.
Why did he laugh so much at that?
If he gets tired on Vin Diesel trouble.
Yeah,
again.
like, he was a great character. I'm really excited to see where the franchise goes,
Yeah.
and like the costumes and everything it was just a solid experience all around. And it was like a welcome to the PS5, Adib. You better enjoy this. And I did. It was amazing. Like,
Number
Okay,
two.
and
seeing
your
New
number
York
2.
Yeah,
through the winter and stuff. Number 2 is another Sony game that I also
games.
have
Sony games.
finished,
Sony
Azan. that I've been.
You haven't finished the game.
Was...
Oh well, let's take the mick out of him. God, Izhar. He's
I
not
don't know
finished
what
the
the
game.
game is. I can't
I said I
take the
have.
mick out of
I
him
said
yet.
I have.
Oh, you have finished.
Yeah. I'm not putting stuff on my top 5s, and I haven't finished it. You know,
Astro
like
Playroom,
I want that
Astro
complete
Playroom,
experience.
Astro Playroom.
I'm not an IGN reviewer.
What was it? What was it?
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is God of War.
Woo!
Yeah.
My game of last generation, really. But anyways,
it's definitely deserving of game of the generation for the PS4 era. Like, it is a perfect game, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
if you play on extra hard difficulty mode, yeah, there's issues with the camera and stuff. But you know, I'm a bit of a scrub when it comes to games. Like, I play on normal difficulty, you know? Like,
you play on normal.
I play on normal.
What,
as
you
well.
both play on normal?
Yeah, because I'm normal.
You guys are so...
You know
oh
what?
my God.
You know what?
I always play on hard.
No wonder you can never finish anything.
Oh my
That's the
God.
issue.
Have you noticed that they're like not trying to offend you anymore in video games? They've just gotten rid of the easy mode, and now instead of saying easy mode, they say play for the story.
Yeah.
As if it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the most patronizing way of saying easy
like,
mode.
no,
it's like,
we
you
know
don't
what-
have any
we know-
skill in video game, just enjoy. You know, we'll do the work for you, better.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fine. Bitter. I'm telling you, yeah. Okay, fine. I will get round to playing God of War.
It
before I
is
get PS5.
amazing. Like, everything that you hear reviewers say about the game, it's true.
True.
It's amazing.
It's
It's so well deserving of the hype, and
For real.
if I start singing its praises, we'll be 2 hours in. So like, let's
Fair enough, okay.
that's me.
Number 3
You got Izhar?
is
Read it, boy.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Nice, okay, yeah.
Last of Us Part
Nice.
2.
2.
And this is also part 1 as well, because I played part 1 as my first ever Twitch stream. I played 1 again in preparation for 2. 1 being one of my favorite games ever, like easy top 3, top 5 ever, and amazing game. And then 2 comes out, part 2, and technical masterpiece. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I think like you know we've touched
absolutely
on
gorgeous. Yeah.
we've touched on this before about like
Story. all of
the
that.
way that people have responded to, you know, the way that the story is and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, a very particular event that happens.
Yes.
But it's just like, you know, the more that I get into it, you know, and I'm still, because I'm still very much like immersed in the story, right?
Oh, okay.
And I'm the more I think about it, the more I realize it had to happen.
Yeah.
And the more I realize that it just had to. But this is the thing, like games have to push boundaries. Games have to make you feel a certain way, because that is the beauty of the medium, right? The beauty of the medium is that it makes you feel things that you just wouldn't feel in any other circumstances, because you are in control of events, or seemingly in control of events. But then when things, you know, turn the way that you don't want them to, it's a feeling that you don't get in any other medium.
Yeah, it's such a cinematic game, and just playing it as well. It really is the gold standard for cinematic storytelling and voice acting, and just
it definitely
being
is
a good. Even just watching it alone, even the gameplay. If we take out the HUD, it looks crazy. So good. All the animations are so like particular, and there's so many little fine details that you wouldn't realize. I completed the whole game not knowing you can do an aerial takedown. Did you know that was on?
Yeah.
You can jump off a roof and
take
kill
someone down.
someone. I didn't do that the entire game.
But you could,
Because you didn't have to.
Well,
You play how you want to play, and I love that. And story-wise, I loved it still. I don't know. It's a very deep story. There's a lot to think about. It's not just, oh, let's go to A and B. Let's save humanity.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of things with gamers. Like, they don't want a story that challenges them or compels them. They want something that empowers. Like with gamers, a lot of them want that power fantasy of just mowing through enemies with no repercussions. They don't really think about some of the human elements. And I think maybe a game like this isn't meant to make you feel good about just mowing through people, you know? Like, maybe it's supposed to question
every time
it,
you
make
kill
you think,
someone, it's like, Becky, no! I'm like, oh shit, her name was
like,
Becky.
every single time that I kill someone in Last of Us, I keep thinking, well, this is a lot of people I'm killing, and this is a life that I've just taken.
Yeah.
Like, no game, it's antithetical to games.
Yeah.
For a gamer to think, oh no, I've just taken a life.
That was a big thing. I think they wanted to push with the game was make you realize killing is bad. Why you do this?
but there's
this.
reasons, right? So that it's like it's the complexity of that point, which is that.
Okay, yeah. That's great. I think I need to say number 2. Number 2 is
more
important. Yeah, my runner-up for game of the year. And I think it came out of early access this year, and I played it this year with one of my best friends, Shav. Shout out to Icon. Is Risk of Rain 2. And now you're gonna see. I know you guys probably didn't see, but clocked in a good 60 hours into it recently actually, and played the entire game with my best friend Shav.
My name's Izhar. I play indie games.
And as you can tell, I really
I'm a
like
video game connoisseur.
arcade.
I have a Steam account.
Fun roguelike games, and this game was, oh my god.
Okay, yeah.
I think I pretty much 100% the game. Not like all the trials and stuff, but
So what type of game is it?
It's a roguelike. So like Hades, except it's 3D and it's up to 4-player co-op.
Oh, interesting.
That's the big difference.
Okay.
It's a co-op.
To the
online.
listeners that might
my
not
God.
know what roguelike is, what is a roguelike?
A roguelike game is like, it's an arcade game where you start off from the beginning and you have a class and you have levels and you have a randomized loot that you get in these levels to get stronger. It could be like really good loot or really bad loot, right? But a bunch of different loot. And as you progress throughout the levels and the bosses, the game gets harder and harder and harder and harder, like stupidly hard.
Okay, yeah.
And each playthrough is a different play style because you get different items which makes you change how you play. Like,
So is that's similar to like
you might have
Godfall.
a crazy ass sword, right? The other playthrough you might have like a bow and arrow that can one shot people. Another playthrough you might have a Gatling gun instead that does bleeding damage instead.
That's interesting.
And like there's and of course that's like really basic level stuff, but they have like hundreds and hundreds of items that synergize with each other. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay.
And
so that's your runner up for game of the year.
Yeah. Easy.
Amazing.
Runner-up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. I mean, I think it's also good to hear games that aren't just another. It's not just another Game Awards list, right? So
Yeah.
it demonstrates as well just how recursive the industry is and how much it's expanding, and how much we've definitely got to support it. So okay,
Definitely.
right. That's the top four so far.
Yeah.
And now we come to our top ones each.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So, for me, my game of the year this year, the game that had the most impact on me, the most that I enjoyed, and all of those different aspects, without a shadow of doubt, is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah, there we go. Such a good game, honestly. I think, and in fact, I mean, we'll definitely get into this a little bit later, but it was brilliant. It was such an amazing game. Before we get into it then, let's hear Adib's game of the year.
Okay, right. I know that you guys want to convince me that Final Fantasy VII is the best game of 2020. The only issue I have with that is the fact that I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake.
We'll work on it.
But I'll let you guys take the time. However long you want. You can go way over, but you can convince me.
Yours,
but my game of the year
Yeah.
is Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for it. One, I think a lot of it is also just the nature of the game when it came out in this current climate trademark. And just like the timing of the release. And when I say game of the year, I don't just mean best game of the year, but also I think it is a game that sort of defines the year. Almost.
Yeah, I think this is, I mean, even though I've said a different game for a game of the year, I 100% agree with you with regards to Animal Crossing and its like impact on this year and 100%. Impact on 2020. Like, there were huge sellouts for the Switch console in general. People couldn't get a Switch because everybody was buying one to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And, there were so many people playing it because of lockdown and so on. And, I spent so much time on it. And I've never played an Animal Crossing game before. And it was my introduction again to the Animal Crossing series.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it's insane. Like, I know it seems like a stupid game sometimes. especially compared to some of the games that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it is genuinely a gaming marvel for what it does for people. It's a marvel. It is an incredible game.
I think it goes beyond the scope of a game as well. Just the things you can do, the imagination that you can put into things, the community element, like there's just a story for Animal Crossing and how it was made is just amazing. Like they didn't want to put their developers through horrible crunch, so Nintendo were like, we're going to delay the game, into March.
Yes, CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Naughty
So
Dog.
he's laughing now, huh?
And the investors were like, oh, that's not good at all, but they took a hit. But it came out, and karma, I suppose, if anyone believes in it, worked in the
Good
favor
karma,
of really good practice, I guess. And it sold gangbusters. It sold Nintendo Switches in the first place.
Yeah.
I know many friends that just wanted, because they didn't want to feel FOMO, they just got a Switch and played Animal Crossing and put countless number of hours into it. And it's not just that, but just the things that it's done for so many people's mental health in such a depressing and lonely time. Like everyone's locked inside their homes, and now, hey, let's go on an island vacation, on this island, meet new people, meet new friends. It was such a wholesome experience in such a negative time. I think that was great. And people were like turning the game into so many different things, like Hellman's did an island to add as a big weird advertisement for their brand.
Joe Biden's Biden campaign, more wild.
Yeah, and also the community element. Like I made loads of friends from playing Animal Crossing. I joined new communities, and now
hey guys,
I've been hanging out with them pretty much every day online.
Okay,
so yeah.
Look, okay,
Game of the year 2020, Animal Crossing for me.
Let me talk about my number one then quickly. So
Go on.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. So while I'm in a Discord chat and all I can hear from these two dweebs is, oh, how many times do you have? Can you come over here quickly? Oh, wait, I'm there in a second. I'm just watering my flowers. So when I was hearing that, I was just like, yo, Final Fantasy is so damn good.
Okay.
Final Fantasy is such a good game.
So that what is your game of the year then?
I did. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. It's definitely my game of the year. And it's a thing, like, the original Final Fantasy, arguably one of the greatest games to have ever graced this earth, right? Like, to this day, just for many reasons, and I didn't play that because I'm a stinky 1998, basically lived through the 2000s baby, so I didn't really get that. But playing it now, oh my god, I totally get it now. I totally get why. Like, the remake is wow, beautiful game. Music, the characters, the combat, it's like, it's new, it's innovative, but it still retains that typical Final Fantasy turn-based strategy that I love with Final Fantasy games. And the biggest reason why is because, dude, the story and the world and the characters are so compelling and so lovable, the characters, and so nuanced. And it's a testament to the writing of the game, because these are the same characters that came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
22 years ago. They're incredible characters. It's cheesy, but in a really good way. And there's no spoilers, but this is a special game. And if only we could talk about the spoilers, what really elevates it. The spoilers is what elevates it to the number one spot, in my opinion.
Well, I think, I think there's two things that I want to say about Final Fantasy, in response to what we've been talking about, which is that, so, different. I'm slightly different to you, which is that I, slightly a bit older. So I didn't get to play it right when it came out, but I played Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy, on PSP, believe it or not, because it came out on PSP. But I played through the original Final Fantasy 7. And even then, bearing in mind, by that point, like, it's PS1 graphics. But it was like, this was the first time that I'd played a game that was graphics before my time, but was one of the greatest things I'd ever played. Like, it's so clear, even now. Now as an adult, I can appreciate it more. But even as a teenager, I've realised just how magical a game it is, and so why it's done so much to influence the whole industry. Why it completely sold out the PlayStation, right? But the thing is, all these years where gamers were talking about remake Final Fantasy 7, bring it out, remaster it. it was a request for so long.
Yeah.
Like it was floating around as an idea in E3 2010.
Yeah.
It was been floating as an idea for so long, and all of a sudden it comes out, and the worry is that it's not going to do it justice, right? It's not going to be able to do a game like that justice. But I think what they achieved with Final Fantasy VII Remake, importantly, it's not remastered, remake, and that's the important aspect of Final Fantasy VII, which is that it completely changed directions while simultaneously maintaining
everything that made it amazing.
Yeah. And I think
It's
that
incredible.
It's genuinely for me a marvel
Yeah.
of game making in terms of how they did that. Because it was hyped for so long. People expected it for so long. And when something gets hyped for that long and it doesn't disappoint,
Yeah.
unlike Cyberpunk 2077, for example.
Yeah,
Right.
I was going to make that point as well. Like,
it's
people have been
amazing.
waiting
It's
for this
amazing.
game for a
And
decade as
it's-
well. And
it's
I'm
a
just
pleasant
so glad.
surprise.
I'm just so glad that, like, people love it. But
And,
I have a question for you
it's
guys.
wait, just one point is like, you know, a game's incredible with this writing when you go into the game a Tifa man and come out an Aerith man. That's what happened with me. I went in as a Tifa man,
And then he came out as Aerith
Tifa.
man. Okay,
And I
fine.
came out like, I need a girl like Aerith in my life.
That's the reason. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's
That's
the
the
end of the
biggest
argument.
Wifey
reason.
material, eh?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
body
my
pillows
question is,
coming.
Go on, Adib.
in terms of the transition, because I know it is a very different gameplay style, but would you agree, would you say that it is the perfect modernization of the
100%.
traditional JRPG and realization of the characters that you saw in the polygonal PS1 graphics, going from turn-based to action RPG? Do you think they've done it not just justice, but do you think they've kept a lot of those elements in and modernized it?
Yeah.
Yep,
Look,
100%.
there's a lot of debate about this, right? Different people have different points of view, but certainly, at least from my perspective, I know Izhar agrees with me on this, which is that, no, first of all, the combat, it is unbelievable how they got that combat so right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that it's when we first heard about like Final Fantasy game turning into like an action RPG, everybody's worried because it's like that's
not what Final Fantasy is.
That's completely not the point. But obviously, this is a new game for a new generation, and you know the developers said that they want to attract new players to the game. They wanted to attract new players to that Final Fantasy VII world, right? But they did that so seamlessly because it still maintained that turn-based kind of aspect of choosing different things. Like I had to, whenever I play Final Fantasy VII Remake Combat, I'm thinking about everything at the same time, and that's amazing because I'm not only busting out whatever moves I need to bust out, but also I have to think ahead. And to get that combination is just absolutely technical brilliance.
Yeah.
But the second thing with regards to, the justice of the characters and whether or not they've done them well, we saw those characters go from, especially for me, I saw those characters who were so interesting because of the dialogue. They were only interesting because of the dialogue. Get fleshed out into body language. There is only one complaint I have, which is that they did make the women a little bit too, dumb. Like, they made Tifa and Aerith sound like
I remember
bimbos.
the specific phrase you used. I don't know if we should say
Yeah,
it.
which we probably won't say. But I think bimbo is definitely one of the words along that.
Yeah, that's one of the words that he used.
That's one of the words. But honestly, I mean, I was annoyed about that because it's like, this is a game for a modern day. This is the first time that we've heard, putting aside Advent Children or putting aside the PSP Final Fantasy 7 that came out, Crisis Core. This is the first time that we see those characters come to flesh in 3D on a big screen. And they could have modernized that little bit, but that's my only small complaint. They made the voice acting a bit strange on that. Maybe it's a translation thing. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just very Final Fantasy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just,
That's just
feel like
it's just
It
the
is
market
weird,
there
isn't
to
it?
appeal to.
that's just it. Still love Tifa though.
I just think it's
I
an
know.
anime Japanese animation thing to American translation. I've always noticed that even in animation,
Lost in translation.
the voice acting is different. You're not going to get the kind of voice acting you get in a Western cartoon like your BoJack Horseman or
exactly.
your
No,
Boondocks
that's
and
fair
stuff.
enough. I think that's fair enough.
Now, I think the question is collectively, and it has to be from this year now. What is our
The triple
game
tap
of the
gaming.
year, triple tap game of the year 2020? Now, for me, that would easily be Final Fantasy 7. Came out this year. my number one game of this year. For you, same thing. But obviously, Adib has never played it. It's hard for us
Time
to say
to
that.
convince me.
And I haven't played
Well, okay.
Animal
Here's,
Crossing, so
okay.
it's
here's
you,
what
Izhar.
I'm
It's
going to
you.
say. Here's what I'm
Yeah.
going to say. Right. Adib has said it's Animal Crossing. You have said it's Final Fantasy VII. You've not played. Izhar's not played Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Adib has not played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I have played both in great measure. So
Yeah.
I love how it all comes down to me, and that's totally not doing anything for my ego. But it comes down to me, and in terms of like, you know, I mean, I've played both games, right, and I played them in detail. I think I'm gonna come to a decision.
I
here.
think Izhar needs to play Animal Crossing.
Well,
He calls-
I think you need to play Final Fantasy VII too.
Yeah.
I will.
I think
I will.
It
It's on my
definitely goes
list.
both ways. So
Wait,
I think
have you played The Last of Us, Adib?
Yeah, I played The Last of Us. I haven't played 2 though.
No, 2, yeah. I'm not talking about you fish.
Look, it's a depressing ass game
Oh
where
my
a
God.
pandemic has ravaged the entire
Bro,
population
you're worse than
of the
Azan.
earth.
See,
and I just
this
don't
is
want to
what I
play a
was
game like
saying.
that.
He's
Adib,
worse
I've
than
been
me.
giving Azan so much
You've
shit
been giving
for
me
so
so much
long.
grief. He's been giving me so much grief just because I
Oh
haven't
my
played one game.
God.
He hasn't played
look,
some really key games.
Ah.
When I play a game and talk about it and add it to my top 10 lists, I usually finish it before I talk about it.
No, shut up.
Bro,
I'm telling you, I've been telling you this for ages. He's a massive Nintendo weeb, huge, and because of this, he completely misses out some of the best games.
Oh my God.
Look, all right, listen. I didn't want to play a game so negative in such a
Oh
negative
my
time.
God.
You know, I don't want to be sad. I want to
We're not
like
gonna get into
rip-
this.
plant turnips, you know.
Right, okay, enough of this. We're coming to a decision.
Okay.
The Triple Tap 2020 Game of the Year goes to Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yes.
I'll just leave. I'll just leave.
Why?
I'll just leave.
It's
It's
so
cool.
funny.
It's-
I'm loving
I mean,
this. I'm loving this. At the
that's-
start of the podcast,
I-
we're like,
okay.
both
I
of
mean,
you guys were-
okay, yeah. Fuck me, right? I mean,
Okay.
It's hard.
You just
Here-
changed it to spite
Here-
Izhar.
Here-
That's the funny-
Here is the reason. There's a reason I made this decision.
I'm not
right?
editing this. I'm editing.
He's
I'm
not going to
editing
edit
this.
it.
I'm not
You're
editing
just
this.
not going to
You
edit
just
it.
give like
'cause I said-
the triple tap. It just changes your like
I-
sound. Just cuts
Okay.
you.
There's an important thing to say here, right? An important thing to say. Obviously, they're different projects. They're different things, different games.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why Animal Crossing is the 2020 Game of the Year.
Why?
And it's very much related to the whole 2020 notion. If the same Final Fantasy VII Remake game came out in 2019 or 2021, it would have still been the same technical brilliance and marvel. It would have been the same, right? But Animal Crossing coming out in a year like this year has made all the difference, right? And it's for those reasons, the fact that it came out this year in the manner that it did at the time that it did and what it did for people, those arguments that Adib was making earlier on are the reasons why I say it's the 2020 Game of the Year. Now, that being said, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a better game
Yeah.
in
it's
general. Just
definitely,
because
like,
I just want, it's a real game. It's an actual game.
I will concede to the fact that Animal Crossing isn't like fully a game. It's more of just Izhar's just sleeping. He's just lying down.
He can't believe because
it's
the thing
over.
is, the reason he's annoyed is because even though my personal number one game of the year, because bear in mind I put Animal Crossing at number 3, right?
Makes no sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
But I think with all the things that Adib has said and all the relevant arguments, I have to give it to Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yes. I mean, look,
So-
it's been a good year for gaming.
So
Can't complain there.
I think Among Us deserves a crown for best game of 2020. For
think
all the
you-
reasons, for
Shut
all the
up.
reasons you guys
Shut up.
have
Right,
just
okay.
said, Among
We are
Us
gonna-
applies to it as well.
Okay, it's different. It's different. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here, right? We're gonna.
Have
end
you
with
broken
one
your
last-
chair? Like, why
I
are
think
you
he's
so
just-
far down?
He's so upset. He's so upset. Right, before we go, then we're gonna each make one
Let me
last
just
prediction.
show you Izhar right now. He's like, he's just dead. Like,
what he
what
looks
is he
like.
doing?
He's so. This is the toxicity of the gaming world, guys. This is what happens. I came up with a wholesome reason for why it was Animal Crossing, and this is the toxicity you get in the gaming world. Anyway.
look at me.
Nah, just honestly, like he probably feels
Hey,
stabbed in the
guys.
back.
Oh my god!
You set him up for
Look
it to
at
be Final Fantasy.
Oh,
There's going to be a
no.
whole section of like you two trying to
Oh,
convince me
shit.
to be Final Fantasy
my
for you to like
villagers.
pull out a trap card on Izhar and just be like,
completely trap carded him.
no.
Right, I'm going to finish there, right? We're going to finish with one thing that we are looking forward to in 2021. So, Adib, tell me one thing that you're looking forward to in 2021.
PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale 2.
Is this a real thing?
No, I want it to be. Therefore, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, fine. Right, okay, fine. Izhar, do you have a thing that you're looking forward to in 2021, gaming-wise?
The death of Animal Crossing. And Azan finally finishing God of War.
Okay, and then I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most in 2021 is us finally being able to get together, play games in person, yeah, I'm also really looking forward to Izhar not being a scrub anymore.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Sega, Sega,
Fuck me, right? Anyways, I think that's the end, and I'm upset.